Hi Flosstube, I'm Lori, and welcome to Once Upon a Stitch, Take 4. Sometimes the words just don't come, and when they do come, they're the wrong words. So, not to offend anybody, I'm starting over. Today is Saturday, August 17th, 2019. It's my 36th Flosstube video. Those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. And those of you returning, I'm glad you came back for a visit. I have a lot to show you and speak with you about and share with you. So I hope something inspires you to want to try something maybe, or give me some feedback and we can have a conversation. Alrighty, I'm going to start with two questions that came from prior videos. The first one was on Anchor Black versus DMC Black. Watching other Flosstube videos, I've learned that people felt Anchor Black had better coverage than DMC. So I gave it a shot, and I think I feel that way as well. I do have DMC 310, and I will continue to use it on certain projects. But if it's a lot of black stitching, I will most likely always go back to the 403 Anchor. Anchor. I just feel that as well, that it does have somewhat of a better coverage. And the other question somebody had was about DMC variegated threads. I had purchased a while back at, I believe it was AC Moore, which is like a craft store like Michael's for you that are not on the East Coast. And there was a box of them, small box, maybe 12 colors of variegated threads, and I had a 50% coupon, so I gave it a shot, not knowing what I was going to use them on, but I gave it a shot, and I did use it in one project, and these were the variegated threads. Sometimes the DMC threads, when you go in the store, sometimes the very top level might have variegated threads. Sometimes they hang them above the display as well. So that's where I got them, and if you'd like to give them a shot, basically they were fine. They did not knot up any more than any other of the threads. So yeah, I like them, and I recommend them. Alrighty, so the first thing I'm going to get into is the New Jersey Flosstube Retreat, hosted by Arlene Cohen, and it was great. I had an awesome time. I was able to share the experience with my daughter-in-law Rebecca. She came, and she got to experience what I did last year, and she said she had a great time, and that if schedule allows, she would definitely do it again next year. So that's awesome. And I'm going to go through our goodie bag. It starts with this pattern, which is on the back of this paper that Arlene designed, and this was our logo this year. Just to show you, this was last year's mug. Oh, I got a little bit of reflection from the window. That was last year's pattern, and this year's is on this one. Let's see. There we go. And she gave us the pattern should we decide to stitch it. There were 10 assistants that helped Arlene work on the retreat in various ways, and I'm just going to read their names quickly because they were a part of putting it all together. It was Dee Abrams, of course Arlene at the helm, Helen Cook, Kathy Jerbenchenko. I know I butchered the name, Kathy, I'm sorry. She's also known as To Die House. To Die House, you all know her, Kathy To Die House. Megan Laster, Kim Lehman, Judy Moy, Teresa Polino, Tonya Segura, Regina Sharkey, and Teresa Pendergast, and me. We helped as we could. so that we could have another retreat. We attended last year's retreat and we had such a great time that we had said to Arlene, if you ever host another one and you need help, we're there for you. So we were very happy that Arlene did decide to host another retreat. So I want to thank all the people that I've gotten things from, but first we're going to go through what was in the bag. The bag is a really nice bag, nice thick straps. Our names were put on them so that we knew if we put our own personal stuff in it during the stay, we knew which was ours. It has a front zipper and another pocket, which always comes in handy, extra pockets. We got a pattern from Beth Twist, and it said, "A lady never discusses the length of her Flosstube subscription list." And I don't know, you can see it like that, but thank you, Beth Twist. Okay, let's see what else. We got a little zipper pouch, and in here were things that were either made by our group, which was the Scissor Fob New Jersey Retreat 2019, and it has a little scissor at the end. Bird scissor, actually. It's really cute. I don't know if that's going to help. Okay. Then we got some counting pins that were assembled. We all got together at Barbara Nelson's house and worked on a lot of either putting them together or, for instance, Barbara made the wax flowers, and then like we would be there and we would have put them in the bag, put the tag on them, and she even waxed a little bumblebee stamp. Isn't that adorable? I mean, those are the little details that like take you above and beyond doing something like this. We all got a erasable highlighter, and that was all in this pouch. Then when we got together, we were going to originally help Barbara, but Barbara, God bless her, she made everyone one of these little snap bags, and then inside the snap bag was a little book that she put together all by herself, and they have tags that say New Jersey Retreat 2019. I don't think you're going to catch it. And then she made us this little book, and let's see. I'm going to turn the light on. Excuse me a moment. I was hoping, I was trying to see if it was better coverage with just the outdoors lighting, but I must have my book upside down. Here's a pocket, and she stamped the pages, she cut the pages, she stamped them individually. I know it's washing out, but this is something that, you know, she did for 110 people. And then Regina Sharkey punched all the thread drops that everybody got. Everybody's was different in pattern, and then we put them on these rings. And for the life of me, I cannot open one of these rings. We also received a needle minder that said Flosstube Retreat. From Gary Parr. We thought he was going to attend, but I guess something came up where he couldn't. He gave each person there 2 types of threads, and mine is it says patina needlepoint, 100% rayon is that one, and the other one is Splendor by Rainbow Gallery. And thank you very much, Gary. Kreinik sent us a bag of bits, And this is what it looks like. It's just different threads from Kreinik. I'm not exactly sure how long the threads are. I haven't opened them yet. But you know what? A couching thread or something like that this would probably be really useful. So I'll give that a shot. Then we had Kelly Bell, who is also a floss tuber. She made an Ort holder keeper for each person at the retreat, and for her name she put a little bell on it. She had chocolate in it for us that came with this, so I had it, and here are my threads. So I did use it. Carolyn off the grid Needlearts gave us all a little notions pouch, and she let us choose, and I chose the Vespas, which remind me of Italy. And beautiful finish inside, and it's from Evertotes. Thank you. Regina Starkey and Megan Laster gave everybody 4 peels, fabric peels, I guess they're called, and they hold your fabric. If you have a long piece of fabric, you roll it up and kind of secure it on these. And what was nice about it, everybody got 4 of one color, but some of us on our table, we mixed them up a bit. Okay, that was in our retreat bags and some of the goodies people gave us. But I have a list, and I don't want to forget anybody. So, a stitcher by the name of Leah Lay. She's from the, let's see, it says she attends the DC Metro Stitchers group. She was so much fun. She brought in a lifelike stand-up of the actor who plays Jamie. I forgot to look his name up. Jamie in Outlander. So people were going up and taking pictures with him. But she also came around and asked if we'd like a stitching buddy. So I was lucky enough, and I got 2 of them. And thank you, Leah. They will come in handy when my grandson is old enough to play with them, and not before. Okay, let's see. This was donated from Teresa Polino, and she is favorswithflair.com, and she put her label. It says Flosstube Retreat, and it is a measuring tape. What's nice about this one, it locks. It has a lock, and then when you open the lock, it retracts by itself. I always usually carry a measuring tape in my pocketbook, because no matter where I go, it's either I'm looking for something for size, or my husband says, do you have that measuring tape in your bag? So I went downstairs and I brought it up, and now hopefully before the video it will pop up on my table here. It was a needle minder gifted to me by Kim, Krafty Kim, and it was an owl. And if I don't find it in this one, I will definitely show it to you in my next video. And I've put it to good use because it was downstairs where I stitch, and I purposely went down to get it, and I don't know where I put it. Okay, Terry Lee Crafts gave out Wonder Clips to everybody. And these are really great, even when you're finishing, because sometimes when you're finishing and you have to hold the corners down so you can glue it or stitch it, I find that, you know, 4 hands would be great, but these Wonder Clips really help a lot when I'm finishing my projects. So thank you very much, Terry. And I just wanted to say that there was an amazing raffle table, and the proceeds to that was going to SAVE, which is a friend to homeless animal shelter, and the donation was made in memory of Arlene Cohen's parents, who passed away last summer. They had a dog that Arlene took with her to her apartment, and stays with Arlene now. And in talking with her sisters, they decided to choose an animal facility, which was awesome. So if you'd like to hear more about it, watch Arlene's videos. She explains going to the shelter and making the donation. So it was very, very moving. And on the raffle table, there were a lot of people who donated things, and I did not write them down, but and I hate mentioning them only because when I don't remember, mention other ones, people will feel bad, and I apologize for leaving people out. So I'm just going to leave it at that. A lot of people donated things to our raffle table. Okay, so I also received there the pattern of Cinderella. Those that have been following me for a while know that I stitch Red Riding Hood, and I'm working on Snow White. So Alison from Stitching Social brought me Cinderella that she stitched, and it is a massive skirt. Oh my goodness, but I love it. While I was there, they had a freebie table. Now, I arrived on Friday. A lot of people arrived on Thursday. And actually, the freebies that I ended up taking were at the very, very end. I went back when they were packing them up, and I looked through them to see if I can get something really tiny, small, and easy so that I can teach off of it my great nieces when and if they're interested. And I think I picked up 2 little things like that, but people have been picking things up for me because they know that I'm going to be a grandma soon, next month sometime. And they showed me this one, Prairie Schooler, Noah's Ark. And then they also gave Samsara pattern, Hip, Hop, Moo. So the cow jumping over the moon. And it's in cross stitch, but it's in also felt. So yeah, I can try either one of those. So thank you for the people that gave me that. Michele Bendy attended our retreat, and she was selling some patterns, and I chose Alice's Mad Plant. And I went to the table where my usual monthly stitching group was sitting, and I said, I just bought this pattern, and I'm going to stitch this in memory of this retreat. And it says, we're all mad here. Mad for cross stitching, but it doesn't say for cross stitching, but it says that. So some of them decided that they were going to buy this pattern, and we were all going to start it together at our next meetup, which is September 7th at Needleworkers. So I'm looking forward to starting that as a group. Then we went shopping. Oh, I guess one of the most sorry for bumping the table. One of the one of the vendors, Needleworkers Delight. I can't thank them enough, because they not only gave us fabrics to try. I think I put them all away, but you might have seen it in other people's videos. Oh, here they are. Sorry. They gave us samplings of fabrics. This was a 28 count cashel linen in dark teal green. They gave us Belfast linen, deep magenta, 32 count. Zweigart 18 count Devosa. I usually use Devosa on some Prairie Schooler Santas. I had bought a pattern years ago, and it called for Devosa, and at that time I was stitching in hand, and I didn't know what I was doing. So I think that's one of the reasons that I stopped, actually. I started stitching in hand on Devosa, and as I was sewing, the threads, like, I lost them. If you pull too tight on Devosa, you could lose your threads. And not knowing to use a hoop, I just decided I wasn't going to cross stitch anymore until like 25 years later. And the last one they gave us is a 36 count Edinburgh linen in Silvery Moon, which is like a silvery white. And they also gave each attendee a 15% off your total purchase. And then they gave us a Swigart chart of patterns or flowers, and inside there's some fruits. I don't want to show the pattern, but if you look at the top there, try and move you slowly. Yeah, these things up top here are all different motifs that are finished. And I believe I had this one and I sent it to Cindy Stitches, I believe. And I thought she would like it so that she can stitch something in it. Well, it seems to be that these motifs are for stitching some of the patterns in, or you could use them to stitch some of the patterns in here. So, so they gave us that, and then 15% off, I told you. And then every evening on Friday night and Saturday night that I was there, they brought treats for us to share, you know, like for everybody. Soft pretzels with different dipping sauce. Then another night they brought all cut up fruits and cookies. So it was really nice of them. So hats off to needleworkers. Alrighty, and then we had a swap where if you made something, you put it on the table, they pick a name, they pick a number, you get called, you pick a bag. And then, so I made something, and actually I showed it, I don't know if it was my last video or the video before, it was the heart and hand Christmas pattern that I had put on a candle holder, metal candle holder, and I put some other goodies in the bag. And the woman that got mine said she was very happy. And I'm extremely ecstatic with what I received. I chose Leah Fitzpatrick's bag. I was literally floored of the things that I received. We're going to start off with this box. Look what she sewed. Stitched. A mermaid. How awesome is that? Then I heard something inside, so I opened the box. There's a pair of scissors, and look at this gorgeous silver scissor fob with a seahorse. Let's see, a seahorse and a shell. And my colors. I love blue. Just gorgeous. And if that wasn't enough, she put a piece of felt on the bottom. Just beautiful. I'll just share that in a moment. She made, I believe she made this, a project bag. And look how gorgeous, gorgeous. This is my first project bag, other than the couple that I made, but I love the ones where you can see through. And in there was Prairie Schooler. And this is a 2009 Prairie Schooler, and I love it. Believe it or not, I am a hockey fan, and I follow the New York Rangers. And I think that is so awesome. 18 count oatmeal fiddler's cloth she gave me. Look, she put a little clip on it and tagged it of what it was. And the threads to stitch them in. Oh my goodness. I mean, I still get chills talking about this. And Leah, I love it. Thank you so much. Leah is, I looked up her Instagram, which is Cross Stitches and Clothes on Instagram, and she does some beautiful, beautiful stitching, as you can see. Okay, now, oh, let's see, should I do this later with haul? I'll do this later with haul, what I picked up at Needleworkers. I'm going to get right into some finishes. This was a finish that I didn't show you prior, but I wore it the first day at the New Jersey retreat. And it says, Shoe Envy. And this was because of McKenna, stitching in sequins. She told a story a while back, how she and her husband were in Las Vegas and her shoe broke and she fell on her face. And they went to the nearest store and then she bought her first pair of Sergio Rossi shoes. Shoe Envy, that's me. So I gave her the pattern and she said that she was going to possibly stitch them up in metallic threads or something. So she might be showing that on her Flosstube video. Alrighty. Some other finishes that I had. When we were talking about those snap bags that Barbara made for everybody, she gave me a cutout pattern of one of them because I offered to cut some fabric for her for some of the bags that she was making. And so I decided to try making one bag and to see what was involved. And after I made the first bag, I said, making so many? How are we? At first it was going to be a group of us. But no, she did them all. This was the one that I tried making from her pattern. And so it was fun. It was fun. And I did it a second time. And I made a project bag. There is no flap to, hold the stuff in, but it's just for me. I just wanted to see how it... you can't see it, but I quilted it to give it more stability, the fabric, because it's such a big piece. So I tried that. And basically what's in those snap bags are these rulers. They were cut to size. And then we put duct tape. She put duct tape. Oh, I gave her some. We put duct tape at the end. And then you slide them in before you stitch them closed. So that was, and there's a Flosstube video out there if you Google snap bags, if anybody was interested. Okay, some finishes. I showed you that I had stitched this. It was Summer House, Fragments in Time, number 7, and the year on this, there's no year. Usually there's a year. Oh, 2017, it's right up here. I had stitched this, but I wasn't, and it was charted for the initials EM. So I looked up in Arlene Cohen's pattern. She has an alphabet chart. And I looked at the pattern, and I got my own initials out of that, and I finished this little pillow. And I put a wool backing on it. And if I find a gold or blue that matches this, some kind of trim, I will try to stitch it around and see how that comes out. But for now, it will be like this. Then I also finished a biscornu that I had stitched a couple of months ago, and I had showed you the finished piece but never put together. So Krafty Kim offered to help me put it together, and she actually brought hers and I brought mine, and we did it together. So this is my finished biscornu. It is the Tiny Modernist bird cage, and And then she gave me this button. I gave her one for the top of her. She gave me one that says handmade with love. So that was awesome. And she helped me, taught me how to go around and stitch it. Just a tip, if anybody has never stitched a biscuit or put one together, my advice is the outlining stitch that you stitch around your piece, that you connect the two, not to stitch it too tightly, because you need a needle to go underneath each stitch on both the top and bottom in order to secure it. And then when you leave one corner out undone, that's when you stuff it as much as you can, and then you finish closing the rest. So that's my first attempt. I might try it again. I just saw a new pattern come out that was really beautiful. I might try it again. When I did this, I said never again, but never say never. Then a friend of mine, I had 2 days left to the month of July for July stitching, and I didn't want to start anything large. So my friend Alpha gave me a pattern, a heart and hand. I think I wrote it down. Yes, heart and hand, winter bird, and she lent it to me. So I hurried up, stitched it, and gave it back, the pattern. And this is my finished winter bird. Now I think I wanted to put pom-poms around this piece, and this is just fabric that I put in the frame with the magnet. And I want to buy the autumn bird eventually, and then just swap out the fabric backing. And then anyways, wanted pom-poms and I couldn't find them. I had a box of pom-poms in some different colors, and I decided to put them all together, but I don't know where I put them. So I did go out and purchase some pom-poms at Hobby Lobby, but I haven't put them on yet. After retreat, there was a week, and then my husband and I went away for a couple of days, so that's why I'm a few days late in recording and sharing with you. So I did get those pom-poms back on. Then the beginning of August, I started. Actually, this was after I came back from retreat. The Year of Celebrations, September, and that's my finish. And thank you for Priscilla for suggesting that but she says that a lot of times she sets the fabric on point. And that's what I did this time, because I always wondered how you got the lines straight. Sometimes if the lines are not straight, if they're a little higher on one side, lower on the other side, if people, it would be noticeable. So, but by putting it on point, you don't have to worry about that so much. So that's my September finish. The only thing I changed was the alphabet. I think it went to E or F. I just did the uppercase, and that was it. And I put some rickrack around. So that was that. The next August 1st and 2nd, I work on things 2 days and then I switch out. And that was the second day was retreat day. The first day was a home day. So I was going to be working on Home of a Needleworker. And here is my finish. There you go, Home of the Needleworker. And I got this frame at a thrift store. And actually it was a stand-up frame, and we put a hanger here. And actually this part is missing of the wood because it was something that slid in that had the stand-up. But I made it, my husband made it. It moves around a little bit because it doesn't, the inside. Anyway, Home of a Needleworker. So that's my finish. Next, I worked on Country Cottage, Merry Christmas. And I finished it, but not fully finished it. and this was on 16 count doubloon by Picture This Plus. Home of a Needleworker was also on a doubloon Picture This Plus. I like stitching on it. It's a little difficult working when you're stretching it to finish it, because it gives, it's stretchy. So and especially when you have lines that you have to make sure are straight. Anyway, I love that, and I am anxious to finish it. And before, when I moved Leah's swap with me, the needle minder that Kim made came up, and it's an owl, and it was a button, but I use it now on all my pieces when I'm stitching. The next one I worked on was You Had Me at Flamingo. Now, I said I was going to leave out these flowers, which I did, because I didn't want to make it any bigger than what it was. I stitched this on a 28 count Lugana. It's kind of washing out the colors a little bit. So I will probably finish it as a pillow, and I think I might look for a fabric that's in this color wave instead of the pink. But since it's somewhat of a summer finish, I don't know if I'll get to it soon. Okay, the next one is a Lizzie Kate Flip It, and it was a November Smalls, and this is where I used the variegated colors for his turkey's wings, and the black for his hat is what I was referring to with the DMC black. So would the other one have covered better? Maybe, but it's fine. I'll finish that most likely in a little pillow. Next one that I worked on was Winter Arches by Ben Creek. I brought this on vacation. We went away a couple of days down the Jersey Shore, and I did not get much stitching time in, but in the car ride I did stitch. So I had said that I was not going to do all 5 arches. I was going to do the tree, the house, and a tree. And that's exactly what I got done. And this was on 18 count parchment, Ada. Actually, the white doesn't even show through on the house one. No, it doesn't show through. Isn't that something? Oh, there you go, at an angle. But it's very visible in real life. So I haven't decided if I'm going to make this a pillow or if I'm going to make something that has somewhat of an arch top. I haven't decided. I'll see what it looks like as I'm doing it. I did work on this. I was hoping to get this finished, but I don't know what I was thinking. It was Alice, and I love this pattern, Tra-La-La pattern from Alice. And I was working on this at the retreat, New Jersey retreat, and this is on, I believe it's 16 count. Let's see, did I have the thing here? So yeah, 16 count Ada in Ocean Spray Blue. And what I did at retreat was this flower, this stem, this flower, the bird, I didn't finish the bird's beak, and the mushroom that the bird is standing on. And then these couple of leaves here. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking I was going to have a finish. There is some major stitching in here. And I'm hoping that in the next time I pick this up, I could get it done. But like I say, 2 days and then I move on. I don't know if I want to like say, oh, if it takes me 3 days, I should just do it maybe. But I do want to finish that one because I really, really love it. Then I worked on Country Cottage, Liberty Lane. This is how far I've gotten. I did the 2 houses and 1 bunting. I did these 2 houses, the tree and the bunting. And I started to work on the bottom. Just because. So I do have a lot left on that one as well. Okay, now, a couple of months ago, I was telling everybody, oh, I want to have 1,000,000 whips. And I love having a lot of whips. And I do have a lot of whips now. But the problem is, with all these whips, I'm not stitching on them all the time. So, what I decided to do is I'm going to be starting new things as we go because I still have the Year of Celebrations November block to do. So I'm going to start that and hopefully finish it. And then I also am starting the pattern from Michele, Bendy, Stitchy in September. So I'm going to have some starts, but not as many as like I was. Like I was doing 5 and 6 new starts every month, and they would just add into my whips, which I enjoy doing, but I don't get to stitch on all of the ones that I've started. So the plan is to start working on my whips and whittling it down to 15. And then as I finish them, I'll start a new one. Because this way, if I work on 15 whips, 2 days a month, that's basically a month's time. And I get to touch every one of them and make progress on them. And that's what I just want to see, is I want to be able to see them because I love them and I want to make progress on them. So, okay, what am I going to do in the next couple of days? The last pattern I have downstairs is Brenda Gervais Candy Cane Wishes. And I'll be working on that today and tomorrow. That's what I will be making progress on. I started this for Christmas in July stitching. I started the top Christmas house, and I'm stitching on this on 18 count Ada, and I decided I was not doing the bunting on the bottom. I was just going to do up to the snow and then bring the border around. And so I have some snowflakes, and hopefully in 2 days I should be able to finish this one. The next one, it's funny because I brought some of these to the retreat, and because I thought I'd have a lot more finishes. You got to talk and meet people, and there's so many people that I didn't get to talk to as much as I would love to, but I will be stitching on Lizzie Kate's Snowy String. This is how far I've gotten on it. And hopefully 2 days, maybe. Then I'm going to move forward in Snow White. I showed that to you in my last video, so I won't show you that. And then 2 days on Joy. Now, Snow White and Joy are 2 finishes that I need now to complete my Stitch 9 challenge. Then I'm going to take out, which I haven't in a while, is Early Americans by Little House Needleworks, and the big piece of fabric. And I did the top 3 houses, and I'm up to Nathan Hale, which is this one, and that is some house and lots of windows. So in 2 days, I don't know, So that's what I'm saying. Like some things, like I would love to have finished each house every month, 2 days, get it done. But it doesn't work that way. So that's why I'm now rethinking my start everything. Brenda Gervais in Indigo Lane. I haven't touched this and I don't know how long. So I'm hoping to get some progress on that one. And that's it. That should bring me the end of the month, and then I'll make my next Flosstube video and tell you how far I've gotten. Okay, the last thing I'm going to share with you is some haul that I have. And if somebody's been saying on Flosstube that some people don't like seeing haul. I love seeing haul. But if you don't and you're going to leave me, so long. I'm glad you came. If you're hanging in, here we go. I purchased fabric from Needleworkers Delight. And it starts with, most of these are 28 count. So this is an antique white Lugana. This is 28 count in Laurel Green. I know the colors are watching out today. I was hoping for better lighting. This one's just ivory, and ivory next to, oh, come on, mushroom. Then I got a golden blossom piece, ice blue, and 2 meadow green pieces. Okay, so those are the fabrics that I purchased. I picked up All Through the Night Boo. Satsuma Street. I think that says autumn in French, maybe. I just love the colors. It's pretty. And I also bought Halloween Cat from Satsuma Street. I ordered another pattern that I hope will come in by the time our group meets up there on September 7th. And I'll share it with you then. So while we were on vacation at the Jersey Shore, we drove down to Cape May, New Jersey. And there's another needlework store down there. I think it's called Stitch by Stitch, and I'm looking and there's nothing here that even says her name, and she didn't give me a receipt. But if you're down in Cape May and you look her up, stitching store, I believe it's Stitch by Stitch. And anyway, I had purchased a while ago, I think it was from McKenna, when she was doing her visits to the attic and her sales and everything, and I picked up 3 of these patterns. It's a Country Cottage Needleworks, and I forget which 3 that I picked, but this was number 5, this is number 3, the boat, and this is number 2, the girl, the sea castle. And Needleworkers Delight was able to order one for me. But the 5th one I was having really a lot of trouble finding. Needleworkers was contacting Country Cottage to see if they had any extras, you know, that came with the floss, and she didn't, but she just released the entire pattern without the flosses. But at the store that I was at, oh, here it is, Stitch by Stitch. She has a little tag on it at the bottom, you can't see. Anyway, I found the one that I was missing, the number 1 from the series, and that's the whole series on the bottom. So I was over the moon that I found this. And the last time I was down there, I found a Prairie Moon pattern, Last Tango, I believe it's called. I haven't stitched it yet, but So I was so thrilled to find this 5th one. On the wall, she had a mystery sampler from Lizzie Kate. And, oh, here it is. This is the picture of the sampler. You might have seen this. A lot of people have stitched it as a mystery of, you know, getting a part every, I don't know, every month that it came out. But they had all 3 sections. It was stapled together as it is, but in the first and second one, you don't know what the sampler looks like, but then in the final one, you get to see what it looked like. So I picked that up. I picked up The Long and Winding Road by Blackbird Designs, and I grew up with the Beatles, and this is what it reminds me of, so that's why I purchased it. Then I picked up a Plum Street Summer Delivery. Thought that was so pretty. I love the color, the like brights. To the conclusion, I like brights. Then I found these Prairie Schoolers, and they're the original thick copy ones. The 3 pigs. The reason I'm looking at this is because they have the ornaments here, but I don't see the pattern for those ornaments. And I don't see how they got it from the main pattern. I'm sorry to hold you up, but see these 2 patterns on the side here? They're nowhere in here. They're on the back. Moving on. Prairie Schooler, Little Red Riding Hood. Even though I did the Primitive Hair Red Riding Hood, I thought this was cute. I've seen it stitched up, and I love Prairie Schooler colors. And the 2 patterns, these little ones, they're on the back. I also got Rabbit Run. I've seen people stitching this, so hopefully I can get this done by Easter next year. And then I found the Tortoise and the Hare, and I liked this one from the story. So that was all my haul. Oh, and because of what I've spent, they gave a little bag like this with a zipper, and it's very similar to the bags that I purchased for my projects. So smaller projects, this will come in very handy, so I'm very grateful for that. And I think that's it for today. This has been one of my longer videos, and I hope you enjoyed everything that you saw here today. I hope you come back. I hope you subscribe. And hope at the end of the month, I'll come back and share with you my progress and what I've been up to. Alrighty, take care. Happy stitching.